So we'll proceed now with our next speaker. As mentioned earlier, from the fisheries, we'll go to the invertebrates. So we'll start first with the soft bottom polychaetes in BanateBay, and then this is going to be presented to us by Miss Lorelie Burgos of Ma'am, you can proceed.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry. Hello, good morning. Hello, Sir Ting.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. We
Okay.
can hear you.
Good morning, Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Lorelie Burgos from the Ocean Bio and Marine Bio Lab. Today, I will present our study entitled Community Structure of Soft Bottom Polychaetes in BanateBay, Eastern Panay. So, to give you a small introduction, Banate Bay is located in the East Coast Panay Island in Central Philippines. It is
Mahina po yung dating nyo.
activities alone, but according to the local fishers, although no clear time frame can be declined. The decline increase in the siltation and turbidity in the area, primarily and rivers in the area. Moreover, agricultural inputs, deforestation in uplands and conversion. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're back. Please share your
Mm.
presentation.
Okay. The decrease in water quality in the bay leads to coastal degradation, especially for marine habitats such as seagrass and coral. Um, High sediment load, particularly during high runoff and strong winds and waves, poses a number of threats on benthos, which is the dominant inhabitants of your sediment. These impacts includes the smothering and the clogging of the feeding apparatus of the benthos. Benthos includes invertebrates that are often commercially harvested, and those that live within the sediment, or what we call the imfaunal organisms, which are well represented, or the most dominant group is your polychaetes. Polychaetes are highly abundant. They possess diverse forms and habits as well as life strategies, as well as good environment. They are good environmental indicators, and more importantly, they are food for higher trophic consumers such as the portuguese and the demersal fishes. Since polychaetes serve as link between your higher trophic levels and then the food that is present in your detritus or the sediments, negative impacts on benthos or polychaetes would have a similar impact on their consumer. Thus, the study was conducted to determine the community structure of polychaetes assemblage in the Manatee Bay, specifically determine their abundance, species composition, the distribution patterns, and relate this to the variability of the environmental parameters. So as mentioned, it was conducted in BanateBay. So the study, the design of the study is, or the field survey is actually more opportunistic, targeting conditions or events that would most typify those with strongest effect on the benthos. This includes the increased changes in salinity, increased turbidity, as well as the typhoons. Hence, the number of sampling that was done: two in the dry summer, one in the onset of rainy days, and one in the southwest monsoon, and one after the typhoon. On each occasion, 15 cm diameter core was used to collect the sediment, pushed into the 10th station in two transects. So one for the benthos and one for sediment analysis and organic matter content. Also, physical-chemical parameters were collected using the HORIBA multiparameter, and then abiotic logs were also obtained from the comprehensive monitoring system set up in the river, and then the weather monitoring system that was set up by the parallel studies. So in the laboratory, the samples were sieved and then sorted into the lowest possible taxonomic resolution possible, especially for the polychaetesin. And then granulometric and organic matter content was also done. So for the data analysis, these two softwares was. So for the results, based on the CCMS sensor readings, rainfall was highest from mid-June to September towards the southwest monsoon month. This was also accompanied, as in the figure, it is shown as the solid black lines, the spikes. This was also accompanied by decreasing surface salinity as well as the episodic increase in turbidity in both coastal and river stations. In connection, fraction of finer sediment particles such as silt and clay also showed a parallel pattern with significant increase in September, observed in September to October. In contrast, fraction of granules in medium fine sand showed very little variation between months, although pattern of significant difference was observed between station or spatially, with higher fraction or larger particles and lower fraction of medium to very fine sand observed in stations near the shore, which is station 6 and station 12. Trends on organic matter content, as well as the chlorophyll and total suspended solids, also showed an increasing pattern in September to October. This is also coupled with decreasing bottom and surface salinity, most likely as a result of runoff due to heavy rain during this month. Similarly, results of PCA further highlight the strong temporal influence of seasons in states,
Nakabalik ba siya ng 11 at 9?
Oo, supposed to be.
which explains your PC1 explains 30.77% of variation and showed negative loading for bottom temperature, chlorophyll A, and bottom surface salinity, separating the dry and wet
Pagdadagdagan pa yun.
with increasing trend of the variable during the monsoon months. While PC2 explained, or the principal component 2 explained 19.4% of total variation, with DO and TSS showing the highest loading. So meaning increasing this total suspended solid and decreasing dissolved oxygen in months such as September, in the southwest monsoon month from September to October. In, in terms of polychaete distribution, abundance also showed similar pattern with your abiotic factors, with increasing trend from July to September, with the highest value observed in September. This is at the onset of rainy season and southwest monsoon. This is likely due to the fact that during this month, increased runoff finds its way into the coast, carrying nutrients in the form of detritus and organic matter, which are food for your marine organisms such as your zooplankton and phytoplankton, as well as your benthic organisms such as your such as the polychaetesin. This result is also consistent with the increased chlorophyll A concentration as we observed in the earlier slides. Similar result was also observed. Similar result of increasing trends during the southwest monsoon was also observed in BanateBay, Eastern Negros, as well as in the southern Guimaras. It also spatially, densities was also observed to be highest in the offshore stations, that is station 10 and 15, while decreased or lower densities was observed in the inshore station, which is the station 6 and 10. The species richness is also high in station 10 and lowest in station 12. Decreased species richness in the inshore station is likely due to fluctuating conditions in the area due to frequent suspension and changes in salinity, as it is um, very near to the mouth of the river, uh, which is dominant in the area. For almost all the stations, densities were observed to decrease in October, which is days after the typhoon Ompong exited the the Philippine Par. So this could be the decrease in densities during this month could be due to the extreme condition brought about by high amounts of rainfall, plus the suspended sediment, plus the strong waves and the fluctuating salinity in the area. According to Whitcomb and Austin, storms or internal waves transport or kill BENTHOS, thereby explaining the low density during this month. The total number of species in the area recorded in the area was 155, belonging to 30 families. And among the families, Pionidae and Capitelidae were the most represented with 14 species. 14 species. They're also the most dominant families. In terms of seasonality, the families of Obrenidae and Maldanidae appear to be the most affected by by storm, which happens in October, as they experience 94 to 100% reduction in density in September and October. Interestingly, Orbinidae was absent in October. This absence of Orbinidae may indicate that the it indicate of poor benthic condition during this month. Um, Also, the abundance of Unipidae and Unicidae that seems to show reduction in densities, which imply that they have higher tolerance to disturbance. Result of multivariate analysis, such as the cluster analysis, also showed substantiate the influence of season to polychaete distribution with two groups, which separates the wet season and then the dry season. This is further substantiated by the result of discriminant analysis, as shown in the figure. So the dominant sediment characteristic in the area is fine sand. As mentioned earlier, there's an increasing trend in the portion of this sediment from September to October, which is linked to the deposition of finer particles from runoff. Also, parallel to that is also the increase of organic matter. Although the overall mean organic matter in the area is actually 26.1, which belongs to the upper typical marine range of typical marine sediments, which is 0.1. Other areas in the observed in this study due to the could be due to the fact that which organic matter content. High organic matter content actually renders the sediment anoxic, but what would have a larger impact on the benthos, especially in the polychaetes,
Ay, Ma'am Lorelie,
Hello?
paki-off po ang inyong video para mas mas bilis yung signal.
Hello? Hello?
Yung please para mabilis yung signal.
Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Hello? Mm-hmm.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So when compared to the densities observed in other regions, uh, the density in BanateBay is actually 10 times lower than that of Thailand and Andaman Sea. This is likely due to the and thus limit the number of species is actually high, three times to seven higher than other areas, just the other areas in the Philippines and then in the other tropical region, which means that although the density is lower, the bay or the bay is rather disturbed. This disturbance is rather cyclic, which implies that your benthic organisms are more adapted to this kind of disturbance. That's the high diversity. This is consistent with the intermediate disturbance hypothesis, which could are neither too rare or weak or too frequent or intense. So in conclusion, polychaete density in Banati Bay is generally lower compared to other areas in the tropics. High sediment load resulting to tropic turbid waters and constant suspension of the sediment limits the settlement of your benthic organism, especially polychaetes. Although the bay supports higher diversity despite low density, polychaete density reflecting seasonal changes in the environment, in the form of increased solar chlorophyll and total suspended solids. And it is negatively affected by physical disturbance caused by wave action during typhoon. So I would like to acknowledge tech integrated coastal ecosystem conservation environmental impact or SECAM, as well as UCB and marine bio and ocean biology. Thank you.
There's a question for you from Dr. Corda. Can you access it?
The Q&A. Hello.
Yeah.
There's a question from Mom Hildy, where the polychaete size is similar throughout. Any indication of growing recruits in our macrobenthic report? Kaya dumami sila. To answer the question, actually we didn't look at the sizes the sizes of the polychaete organism that was collected during this month. Although um, we only focus on the density, so hindi talaga namin alam if that month or the
Okay,
month
natin
in
ba
which
dito
it
yung ulam?
occurred could indicate recruitment. Um, there's a question from Georgie.
Georgine, you're raising your hand.
Yes, please. Two short questions. First, introduction, you mentioned yung fish ponds, no?
Yes.
Fish ponds related dun sa sa deposition. So, but in your conclusion, you did not mention it na, no? That's part of the first question. Meron bang connection? And secondly, yung is there any planting ng mangroves doon sa Yes, I'm speaking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I mentioned the deforestation of mangrove just to show that what are the factors that causes high turbidity in BanateBay. So, um, since mangrove usually serve as your sediment trap, so that the removal of these stands in the coastal areas limits the ability of your coastal areas to trap the sediment that are carried by runoff from the upland areas. As to why I did not mention it in the result is because our study was focused more on the variability of the benthic organism as uh, in relation to the response to this changing environment caused by high turbidity and siltation in the area. So for the second question, um, I don't have an idea if there is an existing plantation or reforestation of mangrove that is happening in the vicinity of BanateBay. Did I answer your question?
Actually, ang question ko was I think maybe although maliit lang yung research, it would be nice for you to look at Banate, Aklan, the whole of Panay is notorious for mangrove deforestation. No? So you should be aware. And then yung sa mangrove planting, if you plant on tidal flats, mag-change yun, no? Your habitat will change, and also your invertebrate community. So
Yes, ma'am. But most of our sampling station actually is located on not on the intertidal flats itself, but on the deeper areas. So if you look at our transect, it is more on the deeper portion of the base and not on the mud flat area.
Ma'am,
may echo thing. You
I'm
have
sorry,
to.
ma'am, kasi
Oh, the echo is very bad.
Yeah.
I'm um,
Hello.
okay.